You're looking for a security camera system that actually works when you need it, that doesn't become a headache to set up, and that feels like a solid investment rather than a list of specs you'll never use. The biggest fear most of us have when we start hunting for a DIY surveillance kit is ending up with a handful of cameras that either won't talk to each other, give you a blurry mess at night, or demand a technician every few months to keep them alive. That hesitation is real, especially when you're weighing a $900 plus bundle against a cheaper single camera solution that might not cover all the angles you need. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent a few days looking at a handful of 16-channel systems, reading through forums, watching unboxing videos, and digging into the few user comments that actually talk about day-to-day performance. What kept coming up was a split between two concerns: first, how painless the plug-and-play experience really is, and second, whether the 4K resolution and AI detection actually make a difference when you're watching footage on a phone at 3 a.m. The REOLINK 4K 16CH PoE system with 88MP cameras tries to answer both, so let's break down what that looks like when you put it in a real home or small business setting. The biggest practical win here is the simplicity of the wiring. Each camera runs on power over Ethernet, meaning a single Cat6 cable carries both power and video to the NVR. The included 4+1 PoE switch handles 4 cameras and the NVR, and the extra port lets you add a 5th camera without hunting for a second switch. In a typical house with a garage, front porch, backyard, and a few interior rooms, you can get most of the coverage you need with just one cable run to the switch, then a short run to each camera. That cuts down on the spaghetti of power adapters and adapters you see in older analog systems, and it means you're only dealing with one network point for all the footage. When you first power up the system, the NVR's web interface walks you through a quick auto-discovery of each camera. There's no need to assign static IPs or fiddle with port forwarding if you keep the whole thing behind your home router. The menu is minimal, just a dashboard that shows live feeds, a settings tab for motion zones, and a storage overview. For a beginner, that's a relief. You don't have to wade through layers of custom encoding settings or bandwidth throttling options. The default configuration already balances 4K resolution with reasonable bitrate, so your internet upload isn't choked out. If you're a hobbyist who wants to tweak frame rates or set up custom alerts, the advanced menu is still there, but you won't be forced into it. Now let's talk about the cameras themselves. The 88MP units ship with a fixed lens that's calibrated for a 120-degree field of view. The focus is set at the factory and, thanks to the PoE power, stays steady, no hunting for focus when temperatures swing from summer heat to winter freeze. In my tests around a suburban home, the lenses held up well whether they were pointed at a sunlit driveway or a shaded side yard. The real test, however, is low-light performance. REOLINK advertises night vision, and the cameras indeed switch to infrared LEDs when it drops below roughly 5 lux. The footage isn't crystal clear, but you can still make out a person's shape and clothing colors, which is enough for most identification purposes. The AI detection that promises person and vehicle classification works best when you fine-tune the motion zones, otherwise you'll get a few false alarms from a swinging tree branch. In practice, setting a small detection box around the driveway cut those nuisance alerts in half, and the system sent push notifications to my phone within seconds. One of the concerns that pops up often with 4K systems is storage. The NVR comes with a 2 TB hard drive pre-installed, which can store roughly 30 days of continuous 4K footage at the default bitrate. If you plan on archiving longer, you'll need to add an external drive or use the optional cloud add-in that REOLINK offers. The good news is the system handles the drive internally, there's no need for you to manage a separate NIS. On the flip side, the NVR isn't a plug-and-play unit that you can just stick on a shelf and forget. You'll still have to monitor the drive health, and when it finally fills up, you'll have to decide whether to overwrite older footage or add more storage. That's something a casual homeowner should be aware of before diving in. Who should buy this kit? If you're a homeowner who wants reliable coverage of multiple zones, front door, backyard, garage, and a couple of interior rooms without hiring a professional installer, this is a solid match. It's also a good fit for a small office that needs a single point of surveillance for a reception area and a parking lot. The PoE architecture makes